Are we live? I think we're live. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for my review of Chelsea 3, Watford 0. I'm not sure whether this started at the right time. Was the live sign only popped up now? Anyway, yeah, what a huge win. I'm so relieved. I'm so bloody relieved. You have absolutely no idea. I'm honestly, I'm so relieved. Let me just open the video basically so I can pop out the chat. As usual, guys, of course, if you are new here, please do subscribe to my channel. That would be massively appreciated if you did that. Drop a like on this live stream and do, well, all sorts else that is, there to do, I guess, all the good stuff, leave some love. And, I'm not reading the chat while I'm basically reviewing the game. I will read the chat towards the end. There's a lot to talk about, so let's just get through it because, like I say, a lot to bloody talk about. And today's game, it just didn't really make much sense to me. In all honesty, it just doesn't make much sense. Actually, am I too loud, guys? Let me just know in the chat. Am I too loud, or is it all right? Is it all right? Please let me know. Obviously, this a little bit. Delayed. Let me know if the sound is good. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going for the time being. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we can do that. But yeah, it just didn't really make sense, that game, because it was a really entertaining game of football. Both teams had plenty of chances. Yes, we might have had a couple more than Watford did. And shots on target, we had way more than Watford did. But Watford had their chances. And if their finishing wasn't as awful as it was, especially in the first half, they quite easily could have gotten at least something from it, if not won it. Because if they take the lead, especially, well, you never know how we're going to react to that. If we reacted well to going behind, if we reacted badly to going behind, you are never quite sure with Chelsea. It definitely doesn't feel like a 3-0 win. We definitely won 3-0 better than Watford, if that makes sense. Although we easily could have scored 5 or 6 or 7 as well. Like, just Giroud himself missed 2 absolute sitters when he came on later on in the game. So, that was quite frankly a bit ridiculous. And we had a couple of others. Pedro had a big chance. Ben Foster made 1 or 2 really, really good saves. So that is that. But, obviously starting off with the game, the lineup was pretty much what I personally expected, in all honesty, like kind of the maximum amount of rotation that we can do without dropping the level of the team too drastically. Well, insider's opinion anyway. But while still keeping enough of the, main starters in there to obviously get us a good result, because we, want to get top 4. So this game was just as important as, the semi-final against Frankfurt was, I guess. So the lineup was Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back 4, Azpilicueta, Marcos Alonso started at left back. A centre back 2 of course, David Luiz and Andreas Christensen, with Rudiger still being out injured. Gary Cahill was on the bench. I am going to talk about Gary Cahill later on. There's a lot to talk about there with Gary. But yeah, let's get to that then. The midfield 3 was Jorginho, of course, is the regista, N'Golo Kanté, and then Mateo Kovacic, which I'm never fully happy with when Mateo Kovacic plays, and it's not Loftus-Cheek, but it makes sense just for rotational purposes. And then the front 3 of Eden Hazard on the left, Higuain started at the front, and Pedro was on the right. And yeah, the first half, especially the first 25-30 minutes, Watford were all over us. We had no idea what to do with them. They pressed us really high, but they didn't really press our midfield much. They only really pressed our back 4. And we really, really struggled with that. They had plenty of chances, plenty of half chances, but their finishing was just awful. Like, Deulofeu probably could have scored a hat-trick today, but he probably didn't even get a shot on target. Also Kepa had an incredible save, like very early on, only a couple of minutes gone by then. Absolutely unbelievable save to keep out a header by Troy Deeney following a free kick or corner, whatever it was. So that was a remarkable save. And then the bad news of the day is that N'Golo Kanté had to come off with an injury, with what looked like a hamstring problem. Sorry, my light is flickering here. Let me just make that be better, I guess. That should be better now. So yeah, N'Golo Kanté had to come off after 7 minutes or so already, which was obviously really frustrating or 10 minutes or whatever it was. So, what do we do with N'Golo now? I hope it's not bad. I'm pretty sure it's going to be out for the Thursday game. Probably going to be out for the last Premier League game as well. But hopefully, and maybe he can be back for the Europa League final. If we get that would be huge, because immediately when he came off, we struggle without N'Golo Kanté in the team. We are a lot better with Loftus-Cheek in the team, but Loftus-Cheek instead of Kovacic, and not Loftus-Cheek instead of Kanté, because he is who came on for Kanté when Kanté had to come off. But still, for the rest of the first half, yes, we had a couple of chances, but nothing huge. In all honesty, nothing huge, and we, improvement was drastically needed for the second half, and that's exactly what the team gave us, and it was huge. Like, it was huge. How many times this season have we conceded straight after half time 1, if not 2 goals, and then we had to kind of try and basically just rescue something from that game. But today, for once, finally, we did do the opposite and score 2 quick goals straight after half-time ourselves. First dribble off the cheek from, following a corner routine between Pedro and Hazard, and then Hazard with a beautiful cross, beautiful kind of like chipped, slice cross towards the far post, and then Ruben Loftus-Cheek showing incredible strength to get, on the end of the cross, basically against his former teammate, former Chelsea player Nathaniel Chalobah, managed to outstrength him and get his head on the ball and headed over the line, which is obviously huge. And basically 2 minutes later, well, I say basically, literally 2 minutes later, David Luiz from another corner, I'm not quite sure who delivered it. I think Hazard might have delivered it. So, that gives him 2 assists today, which fair play to him. And that was a great delivery. Usually Hazard doesn't really take great corners, and the first one was a really routine, so he came much, much closer towards the edge of the box to cross the ball. But the second one for Luiz, he crossed from there and then, and it was a great cross. David Luiz with a great power header, just past Ben Foster, managed to lose his man in the box, and that was great. And that was basically the game sealed, even though Watford still had their chances. Deulofeu not long after we, made a 2-0, had a shot go really, really close by the far post when he managed to beat Aspie in a 1-on-1. And then in the 75th minute, also Gonzalo Higuain did manage to make it 3-0. It was a great goal, like a really, really, really good goal. Great movement by him, a great run in behind, following, and then Pedro just played him a really good ball. And then from a really tight angle, really difficult angle, Higuain managed to just somehow chip. Well, I guess it was a chip, not a high chip, a low chip, just about over the goalkeeper. Managed to really just dink it over him and put it over the line, and that was then obviously 3-0. And it was great. Not long after, Giroud came on for Higuain. Like I say, Giroud should really have scored at least 2. At least 2. Like embarrassing misses, in all honesty, especially the first one. Barely even touched the ball. And he was completely by himself, completely unmarked, barely even touched the ball. So that was poor. And then, last but not least, another thing that has to be mentioned is, of course, that Gary Cahill, did get basically his farewell, because obviously, man couldn't keep his mouth shut, could he now? And some of you might get triggered at what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway because I firmly believe what I'm about to say. Interview with Matt Law by the Telegraph, is it? I think Matt Law is the Telegraph, might be wrong. Whatever it is, published an interview with Gary Cahill, and Gary Cahill spoke, well, not particularly nicely. He said how awful it's been the whole year, and basically he will completely delete it from his memory, and basically his Chelsea career in his head ends with the FA Cup win last summer. And basically says he has no respect for Sarri because Sarri doesn't respect him, and all these kind of bollocks things. I'm like, what the hell do you mean? Like, he said, if you don't play for 3 or 4 games, you don't really need an explanation. But if you don't play for, 8 or 9 games, then you want an explanation as a player. I'm like, well, Gary, the explanation is that you can't pass the ball to save your life under pressure. That's why you're not playing. It's quite obvious, And the fact that he's saying, maybe he didn't get as detailed of an explanation as he wanted, and I understand that. I understand the frustration of wanting to play. I completely get it. It's been here for a long time. I completely understand the sentiment of it. But what I don't agree with is, first of all, the timing of this interview being released with 3 games, left to go. Well, hopefully 3 games now after today. And just in such a crucial part of the season, like we're trying to get top 4, we're trying to win the Europa League final, and there's already plenty of negativity against Maurizio Sarri. I know you come up with that. Like, I'm sorry, especially when he was clearly told to, basically either find a loan move, do something, or just leave in January, because he turned down 3 offers for him, reportedly by Fulham, Juventus, and West Ham, maybe. Not sure whether the Juventus one is true, and I get why he wouldn't want to go there because he wouldn't play there either. But the Fulham one, I mean, yeah, maybe he doesn't want to get relegated, but I mean, is it just about the money then, Gus? Like, what is it? Like, if you don't go to Fulham, you don't even have to move. Maybe with him, they would have stayed up. Who knows? I doubt it, but maybe. And he just turns it down. And then in May, he goes to moan about not playing. Like, if you turn down offers when you know full well that you're not going to start playing at some point, then you can't cry about not playing. Like, that is ridiculous, especially from a captain. Like, if an Emerson barely played and did something like that, I wouldn't like it, but I could somehow accept it. But Gary Cahill, he's our captain. Gary Cahill was handed the captain's armband by John Terry, when in that farewell game by John Terry against Sunderland. And then, like, John Terry wouldn't do that. Yes, John Terry has definitely down tools for, with certain managers, Villas-Boas, Benitez, definitely not been at his best. But John Terry, to my knowledge, did not give interviews in such crucial parts of the season, basically harming the club, harming the manager. That is not what you need. And as a captain, as the captain, you don't do that. You don't do that. But today, leaving all of that aside, I didn't appreciate that one bit. Still, guys, not reading your comments, so we'll get back to them when I'm basically done talking, if that makes sense. and also subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a like on this live stream. I would very much appreciate that. But yeah, today he did come on in the 89th minute for just a few minutes, literally just 1 minute plus, stoppage time. But he did get that. He did get a huge standing ovation by the crowd. Azpilicueta ran over to give him the captain's armband straight away. David Luiz was replaced by him. And, as much as I didn't like the interview, as much as I didn't like the timing of what he said, that doesn't take away from the fact that he's been a great servant for the club. In my opinion, Gary Cahill isn't a legend of Chelsea, but he's won everything, literally everything but the Cup Winners' Cup, I guess, and the World Club. What is it? Club World Cup or whatever it is. He literally won everything else there is to win, and in not particularly long time, is it? Like, we only signed him in January of 2012, won the Champions League 5 months later. So fair play to him, and I'm glad that he did get that send off today. I'm very, very happy about that, and I do hope wherever he goes, because he'll be basically confirmed that he will leave, or he did confirm that he will leave Chelsea this summer. I do hope that wherever he goes, it goes well for him. And yeah, I'm just going to leave that there. Now, obviously, I can't watch the lap of honor basically that they did do or are doing after the game. I just saw someone tweet me that Hazard doesn't look like leaving, because he's not being emotional at all. Yes, of course, it's not the actual last game at the Bridge, with that being on Thursday against Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, maybe he's just not like that. Maybe, but he doesn't look like leaving, apparently. When you compare it to Cesc Fabregas, who, well, played against, who was it? Was it against Forest? I can't even remember who it was against, but he was crying his eyes out. And if Hazard is leaving after 7 years, much longer than Fabregas was here, and he doesn't show anything, fair play. I'm not one to cry all the time, so if someone else is not like that, fair enough. But maybe, hope, I don't know, probably not. Let's be honest, that was probably Eden Hazard's last Premier League game at Stamford Bridge. Well, at least for Chelsea. Well, pretty sure he's not going to go to another Premier League club and play Chelsea away from home, so that would be weird. But yeah, what else is there to say, really? Let's get to your questions. Obviously, it is huge now, because with that win, we have just gone into third now. Spurs bottled it again yesterday, just bottled it again. I mean, they lost to West Ham last week. Now they lost to Bournemouth yesterday. Had 2 players sent off. Heung-min Son was sent off in the first half for a bit of a harsh red card, in my opinion, although Eric Dyer could have been sent off a couple of minutes previously, so kind of evens itself out. And then Juan Foyt, or however you pronounce his name, the young centre-back or defender anyway, came on at half-time and was sent off 2 minutes later, which is ridiculous. For a ridiculous challenge as well, rightly so, sent off. It is very, very funny. So they bottled that. And then Nathan Ake, in injury time, good old Nathan Ake, what a guy, made a 1-0 for Bournemouth. And now we're third. We're ahead of Spurs now. Man United just drew at Huddersfield. Like, they can't even beat Huddersfield. Let's not mention that we only drew against them as well. But they can't even beat Huddersfield. They're fucking over and out. Like, oh yeah, Ollie's at the wheel. Yeah, well, congratulations. I mean, that's going well, isn't it now? Because right now, well, they're guaranteed to play Europa League and not be in the Champions League. So unlucky for some, unlucky for some, unlucky for some. So that is obviously great banter. And now, if Arsenal don't beat Brighton, which they probably will, because Arsenal, only against Palace, they really lost a game at home, and against City, I think. Other than that, they didn't even lose at home. So, yeah, I mean, my hopes aren't too high for them dropping points against Brighton. But if they do, we are today guaranteed to... who said we did beat Huddersfield? No, I mean, not today anyway. You played Huddersfield today. You didn't win. You drew 1-0. Saw it, literally. And Mr. David De Gea made another error, which was quite funny. Anyway, to continue my point, if Arsenal don't win today, whether they draw or whether they lose, we are confirmed to finish in the top 4 today, which would obviously be huge for Thursday, because if that would happen, we could literally pump on every bit of energy that we have left on Thursday, then go to Leicester, and who cares what happens next Sunday if we're already guaranteed top 4. Yes, of course, we want to finish third, but at the end of the day, it really, didn't really make a difference. Anyway, yeah, let's come to your questions. Let me know, please, guys, now that I'm seeing the chat again. Let me know if you agree with what I said about Gary Cahill, because I strongly believe that what he did today, the interview, is out of order as the captain. I absolutely, I couldn't disagree with doing that anymore. Literally couldn't disagree with it anymore. And was there a lap of honor? Yes, there was a lap of honor. Arsenal will lose. Bloody hope so. Well, no, Sarri's press conference won't shed any light on the situation, because Sarri had nothing to do with that interview. Now Gary Cahill does interviews by himself, and I'm not even saying I'm not even saying that, he is the mole that some people said, there could be a mole at Chelsea. Obviously, you had these reports as the season, went on of like players don't enjoy training anymore. They like Sarri as a guy, but they don't enjoy training anymore. It's very like one-dimensional. It's very like boring and repetitive. I'm like, where the hell do these stories come from? I'm not saying Gary Cahill was that. Definitely not saying it at all. But I'm saying he could be. And giving an interview like that he did today certainly doesn't make it look like he's not that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Gary Cahill simply is not good enough. That's why he didn't play. No, you're wrong there, mate. Whatever your name is, Star. If we finish fourth and Arsenal win Europa League, which is looking increasingly likely, we won't get Champions League, so third is big. No, that's wrong. Only if also Spurs win the Champions League, then that will be the case. But if Arsenal win the Europa League and finish fifth, there will just be 5 teams in the Champions League next season, 5 teams from England, like it was when Manchester United won the Europa League against Ajax in the final 2 years ago, and they didn't actually finish inside the top 4, and then we simply had 5 English teams in the Champions League. So, that is that. Hello back to you to Australia. Never been, would love to go. What 3 signings would you do if the transfer ban is lifted? I mean, sign a Regista, that'd be a start as a backup to Jorginho, not necessarily Kovacic, but just bloody someone. A striker would be nice, Striker, who? I don't know. Who could we? What striker could we sign? Well, I mean, Luka Jovic is the obvious answer, but would we get him? I don't know. So that is that. Do you think that Watford will beat City in the FA Cup final? In all honesty, I don't, but I really hope they do. It would just be funny. I like Watford. I don't have a problem with them. Troy Deeney, seems like a cool guy. Also, I do want to say that Troy Deeney absolutely bullied David Luiz and Christensen, especially in the first half today. It was bad. We really lacked Rudiger today. Someone put it to me, said Troy Deeney also bullied us when Rudiger played. Fair enough, but at least he's Rudiger can handle it a little bit better than David Luiz and Christensen. They really, really struggled. How can we cope without N'Golo Kanté? Well, there's the problem. Obviously, at this time, we just don't know. We just don't know how severe the injury is. I mean, maybe it was just a really, really tiny tear of the muscle, and maybe he's even fine for next week against Leicester. Definitely not going to play against Frankfurt. Very much doubt the Leicester game. But maybe if we get there, he'll be fit for the final. That would obviously be big. But obviously, he'd be a big loss, on Thursday against, Frankfurt. How did you see Abraham? How? Do you mean Villa? Well, he's doing well. In all honesty, I don't really watch the Championship all that much, in all honesty. Is Hazard leaving? I very much think so. Hopefully not, but I very much believe that he will. Yes, you are right. I did see, yes, I think Zuma should definitely come back, especially if you have a transfer ban, but even if we don't, he should come back and be a squad player. And if we can win his place over Rudiger, over Christensen, over Luiz, very happy about that. That would be incredible, because after his injury, the guy deserves another chance, in my opinion. That would be great. I don't think that's true. The Luka Jovic agreed terms with Real Madrid. It's definitely not official information. It might be like rumors, I guess. Do you know Nuremberg? Yes, I do know Nuremberg, which, well, us people would call Nuremberg. But anyway, Mason Mount is not a regista. I'm sorry, mate. As Mordi, whatever, however you pronounce his name. No, the guy is a goal-scoring midfielder. The guy is basically like Frank Lampard. If you put him at regista, you take away one of his biggest strengths, because that's not what you do as a regista. So that would be absolutely ridiculous. And yes, I also do want to mention Ruben Loftus-Cheek, because the guy, a bit all over the shop today. Sorry, guys. The guy is ridiculous. I mean, great header. The guy is just so good. I just hope that the guy can stay fit with his back and all the other problems. He's so ridiculously good. A bit more movement, a bit more work rate off the ball. Not necessarily in defending. He actually does that a lot better than he used to do now. Really, really well. But sometimes he's just not quick enough when we're trying to move the ball. Only when he's on the ball, he moves a ridiculous amount, because he's just so quick and just moves so well with the ball. But sometimes a bit more movement would be good. But other than that, he's just so good. He can shoot, he can pass, he can dribble. He's so strong. I love the guy. My favorite Chelsea player over Hazard, in my opinion. Thoughts on Czech as a technical director? Well, I would like that. Not sure if he has the credentials to do it, in all honesty, but he speaks pretty much every language out there. So, that'd be good. And yes, I agree. King Dan, sell Barkley, and let Mount compete with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Unless we don't have a transfer ban, then I would. Well, let me change that answer. If Derby managed to go up, obviously they managed to qualify for the playoffs today, and will play Leeds in the first round, in the playoff semi-final, and then the winner of Villa and forgot who the other team is, Villa and whoever, in the playoff final, if obviously Derby win that. Now, if Derby go up, I would actually just leave Mason Mount there for another year. I think that would be doing really, really well under Frank Lampard and that as well. That would be good. What do you have to say about fans putting their season tickets for exchange, putting Jorginho, Johnny Fox, sorry, what do you think, Chelsea fans? Yes, I agree. The guts berserk. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Oh yeah, by the way, I do also want to mention that Jorginho had a really, really, really good game. The fact that he still doesn't have an assist at this point of the season, I mean, our forward should literally be put in jail for that. Again, assisted a really good chance for both Hazard and Loftus-Cheek and Higuain today. Sorry, Hazard messed up his first touch in the first half and didn't even get a shot away in the end after beautiful over the top ball. Literally, like Cesc Fabregas, like that ball was. Then a great outside of the boot. Through ball for Higuain that Higuain did well with, got his shot on target, but Foster just made a good save. So, Jorginho, really good. I agree that he wasn't the best player from the get-go, but he came from a completely different league and came over. I think physically he's coping a lot better, a lot better than, well, a lot of people give him credit for, in my opinion. Winning a lot of tackles, his positioning is unbelievable. That's why he has a lot of interceptions. So, I really rate it. New personal pills. Don't know what that means. Pep let go 11 players when he came to Man City. Yeah, I mean, we probably need something like that. All right. Lamin JB Jamme. Sorry if I bought that. Probably didn't make your dream happen now because I bought it so hard. And I will definitely try to go to Baku if we get to the final. I will definitely try. Obviously, flights will be expensive. Thankfully, I don't live in London, because if the final is Chelsea versus Arsenal, the flights from London will be ridiculously expensive. So thankfully, I don't live there. That will be helpful for me. Baka's finished at Chelsea, yeah. Don't really. I mean, I think he could be an option as the right centre mid, as a backup to Kanze. I think he can be an option there, as maybe a second or third choice there. But don't know. Doubt it. Don't think Saudi wants him there. Who would I sell in a heartbeat? Well, Danny Drinkwater, obviously. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, let's do maybe one or two more questions, then we're going to leave it there. I really hope that David Luiz signs another contract. I really, really do hope. No, I don't regard Zoom as a ball-playing centre-back. I think his passing still needs to improve, but I think Sarri could help him do that. I think he's a lot calmer than he used to be when he was at Chelsea now. He's a lot calmer. So, that would definitely help him play in our system. And yes, Pepe would certainly be a great signing. Do you think Loftus-Cheek fitness problems will scare off any takers? Loftus-Cheek is not going anywhere. I mean, the guy didn't go anywhere when he was never playing. The guy loves Chelsea to absolute death. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, his dream is and was to play for Chelsea. He's actually doing that now, pretty much every week, pretty much every game. The guy's not going anywhere. He's well happy. He's not going anywhere, trust me. He's definitely not going anywhere. Trophy or philosophy or mix? Mix, of course. Mix, of course. That's the idea. But I'm happy if trying to get Sarri to play his football, if that takes us 2 years, and then say next season we're now 24 points behind City or whatever we are, and say we come third, and that's 2 spots better than it was last year, no matter how bad the fight for top 4 was, because everyone dropped points like crazy, we're still, in points-wise, a lot closer to Man City than we were last season, which, is good. Also because they had less points, but still, we also took 3 points off them by beating them, unlike last season when we got beat twice. So that is that. So if we then next year, whether we come third or second still, but just close in points, say within 10 or 12 points, and then we can fight for it the season after, win a cup and stuff, that's when we can kind of talk about it, because we need progression, and we need money as well. You can't catch Man City without spending ridiculous amounts of money. You can't expect us to challenge Man City, to challenge Liverpool, while they're spending ridiculous amounts of money and we basically don't spend anything, and especially now have a transfer embargo and a transfer ban. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. I can't believe it's true, isn't it? Though it's true, Corey, isn't it? It's a bit mad. It's a bit mad, but that's just because Spurs are bottle jobs. Arsenal have been bottle jobs. Let's hope they bottle it again today. and Man United are just ridiculous. I mean, they had a good comeback from when they sacked Mourinho with Solskjaer at the start. Obviously, they picked up a lot of points. We try and hit the bar, hit the post. Well, unfortunate for him. I mean, he can save long shots. He saved plenty of them. He's just a bit short, so that's why with a few of them he struggles. Well, it doesn't just seem like Gary Cahill is leaving Arsenal. Fuck's sake, Arsenal pen. Well, I mean, we couldn't really put our hopes on Brighton getting points against them, really. Let's be honest. That would have been a bit silly. Who do you think is paid out of Pedro and Willian? They both have their advantages and disadvantages. They both have their pros and cons. I don't really see a better and a worse in between them, because sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're really bad. And they both have, Willian is better in dribbling because he's a lot quicker, but Pedro is a lot more direct and shoots better. So, yeah. And keep Higuain. If we have a transfer ban, I'd say keep Higuain. If we don't have a transfer ban, let him go and sign someone else. That's what I'm going to say. What do you think about Chelsea forward being Odoi, Jovic, and Pepe? Well, that would be lovely, isn't it? But let's see how Hudson-Odoi comes back from his, ruptured Achilles. Let's wait for that first before we make any such suggestions. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. The guy that you're always watching. Drop a like on this live stream, please do. There's still 180 people watching. Only 71 likes, so please do drop a like. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That would be great. Because just why not? Let's keep it going. I will hopefully finally do a proper preview, normal, actual video again. Not these live streams where the quality isn't anywhere near as good as they should be. We'll do a proper normal video again this week, which will obviously be good. So I hope you're looking forward to that. Like I say, subscribe, leave your comments, once this live stream is turned into a video. If you're then watching that, leave your comments down in the comment section below. What did you make of the game? Do you agree with my stance on the Gary Cahill situation, on, Hazard? Do you think he's leaving? What a player Ruben Loftus-Cheek is. Jorginho doing better. Jorginho should have assists, but he doesn't because of other players, not because he's bad. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. And as usual, I'll see you when I see you.